Welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight. I am here with Krit Sempolkrung. He is the owner of Tingle Labs Kitchen. And Krit, we want to say thank you for taking the time to be on the Business Spotlight. Let me tell you a little bit about the Business Spotlight. It's great for many reasons. Number one, it helps you be introduced to some of the people in, my personal network here. And it also gives you a lot more exposure with our viewers here in Las Vegas. It will also go out to the ActionCOACH database, Krit, so it helps with the exposure. Now, I'm excited to learn more about you, your business, what makes you guys special here in the Las Vegas Valley. And I'm going to start asking you, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business and how long have you been doing it?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Krit Sempolkrung. Tingle Labs Kitchen was formulated 2015 in May after a drunken encounter with a sous chef of mine. Uh, I have a very long history of work and then different things I've done up until this point. And one day I just was sad, got into food, loved it, started working my way through the industry everywhere I could for free until someone trusted me to give me a job, and then clawed my way to try to be a sous chef. And then along that journey, I met gentlemen who just reminded me that, it doesn't really matter what part of the business or what, military, private sector, public sector, it doesn't matter. People can still treat you like trash no matter what the requirements are.
Mm.
And I got really angry and drank a whole bottle of scotch. And then next thing I knew, there was a business license in my mail for a catering company. So, very high functioning alcoholic, apparently. But after that happened, our very first job was Shelby American. Lucky for me, I knew a couple of people in the event planning space, and then I guess that's kind of like the history of how I got here is really what built and predicated all the success I had getting here. I was trying to be military back in 2011,
Mm-hmm.
and I was supposed to be an officer at that time, and then it just didn't work out.
Mm.
Uh, I got laid off, and then because of budgetary cuts, and then the government was shut down at the time. If anyone remembers that specific year.
Yep.
Um, from there, it's been a really fun journey. We were a private chef group, then a catering company, and then eventually we transitioned into consulting. Then during the pandemic, just before the pandemic, we had made a couple of bets on where the market was going to go as far as the meal prep space and the ice and the dessert space. And then after a lot of data and then a lot of case studies and reading a bunch of different businesses in the industry that were successful, we voted on ice cream as our next model.
Mm.
We were trying to find meal prep partners because the workload was just too much for me to be the chef, head chef, executive chef, and then try to do that. So we created this program. We were going to be an incubator, and we were going to try to find a meal prep company, or at least people who made vegetables delicious, and work with them and kind of build that business. So that was 2020. Fast forward to now, we are a licensed kitchen commissary and incubator. So if anyone wants to come and then produce food, I am the signature that basically allows that. You can use my space, and then you can just pay us, and then the health department won't bat an eye. I've approved it. Um, we're about to open Star Lounge, reopen it. It's the old Sunny Saloon. That's the bar attached to our kitchen.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
Within that, we know a lot of locals. We know a lot of the local industry. A lot of people want us to feed them. We used to do a lot of fine dining, but times are changing. People are going broke, so we need to feed the people. And so we're going to try to start reopening that bar and doing that. Well, how do I staff it? I'm also the county's partner for job training and apprenticeships in the culinary industry. So, specifically unemployed people, we are working on a veterans program right now. But for unemployed people, if you've been in the system for a couple of months and you need a job and you need job skills, you can come work for me for 6 months, and then you will be some kind of cooking assassin that will get you at least hopefully any position on the strip, and then potentially in the union if I greenlight you. So, and then the ice cream company, On the other hand, we grew beyond my wildest expectations. We're the official ice cream partner of the Golden Knights. You may have heard of us, Secret Creamery.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
DBA,
Congrats.
DBA is Secret Creamery. That's us. If you Google it, my name and my mug is in there. I'm just not on all the major press releases recently because A, I don't have time for that, but B, uh, I'll let the people who sell the ice cream sell the ice cream. I just make sure it tastes good.
Yeah.
And then for a good minute there, we were number one on Yelp for ice cream flavors or ice cream places in town. So looking forward to our first store opening over by Fashion Show,
Hmm.
over by the Davidoff cigar place outside closest to Las Vegas Boulevard. And then if you're looking for ice cream pints, our Golden Knights ice cream is available at every Green Valley grocery
Ooh,
uh, town, all of them. So if you don't know where to find one, just look up the Green Valley groceries.
yeah.
But that's us.
And that's
In
awesome.
7 years.
Yeah. So a lot of good and valuable information of, learning to adapt and overcome, especially during, COVID. A lot of people didn't know what to do, right? And so like us as business coaches, how we coach our clients to always be testing, measuring, knowing exactly how to get to the end goal. Seems like you navigated those waters and created a lot of success. The partnership with the Golden Knights, I know that's huge for you. And now you're getting a lot more recognition than when we initially met. And you had launched the business. And I know we were talking about that earlier, but that's kudos to you and congratulations. Uh, the
Thank you.
business spotlight, Krit, what we wanted to do is be educational and also inspire other people who are thinking about getting into business and entrepreneurship. So, what would you say has been the biggest learning curve since you started the business?
So let me piggyback of what you said, and then it's just like survival code: improvise, adapt, overcome. Right?
Mhm.
It's your training, all stuff like that. So but the you, but that's all true. If you have stagnant water as opposed to running water, you're gonna die. You need to create pipelines that are getting you where you want to go. We planned back in 2015 because everything was based on case studies. We didn't even bother doing these things without knowing what we were going to do. So like, hey, what does the best caterer look like? How did they get here? Did someone from a college do a research report on them so we can read it? Because that's something that should have been done with all this case studies and history and data in the planet.
Right.
And then we did the same thing with dessert. We did the same thing with different food processes, and then we kind of we derived a plan from there. When the Knights formulated back in was it 2015, 2016?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were just founded. The thought was inception from there. My goodness, the city can have a major sports team. We're going to have arenas. What product can scale at the growth rate that the arena could from the get go? And then we just started going through it. Like, well, how much will it cost us to get the factory machines to build a cookie maker? That where we can produce thousands of cookies. Okay, but it won't stay in the shelves long enough. Well, what can last months? And then eventually we just fell on ice cream. And in that case study, we were following a bunch of different ones like Jenny's or Salt and Straw, and then some of the other like major up and coming ice creams, and just read about them and how they got to retail. And then, it was their partnerships. It was just being in front of the right people at the right time.
Mm.
So that strategically, we made sure we were at the white label convention. We were at the strategic specialty foods convention. We made ourselves available on the emergency backup staff list for Levi Group because Levi Group is the concessions director, the group, the managers of all the major stadiums in the country, including T-Mobile, Allegiant, and NASCAR.
Yeah.
So when EDC kind of like first took its turn here, we saw how much money was coming through the city from that. But how do you become a food vendor for that? That list is like 500 people wide.
Mm.
Of people trying to volunteer to be on that list to work with them. The dessert list is like 40 people in comparison.
Mm.
So we saw the opportunities there where it's like, all right, well, they need more dessert guys. And then we're yes men, right? Well, I've been trained to be a very great follower and a great leader. So, from there, it's like, okay, what do you need? you need 3 dessert booths in the middle of winter. Okay, we'll do it. You know, I don't know if cursing's allowed in here, but we ate a lot of crap,
Yeah.
a lot of people, but we did it, smiling, and no, and then right, who else is going to do that but us? Nowadays, it's one thing to sell the moon; it's another thing to do the work, and most other places don't do that. And then coming up on our 7th year now, next May will be our 8th. I'm busy as can be, and I don't even really market. All referral. If a job needs to get done, and then there's really no time to really plan it, you just call me. That's kind of we just did the Latin Grammys last week with almost no notice. We had it was 2 days before the event, and then someone gave me a phone call. I agreed, and a pallet was dropped off in my building less than 24 hours later. Chef's Warehouse. Shout out to those guys. Thanks for the
Yep.
work. But right, like, oh my goodness, to be positioned like that. So for the ice cream, we're because we're an FDA licensed manufacturer, we're able to kind of like pivot to whatever the needs of the customer base is. So, talking about COVID, just recognizing that people were going to have less money.
Right.
My taxes are going up. That's not a good sign. I got ex-girlfriends hitting me up and calling me daddy, looking for a place to stay. That's definitely not a good sign, because that financial stability is no longer there.
Mm.
So, we it was decided amongst all of us in our executive group and then management that like we need to do things that are affordable and that make sense. So, the bar is going to be an industry hangout because we're going to try to serve crafts, local beers and local drinks and local whiskey. So then that way it's affordable and it helps the community.
Mm-hmm.
Actual ice cream company, a lot of people don't know this, but it's all Anderson Dairy. We source local. The actual company is Battleborn. We're a Nevada based company. We try to really promote that within the back of the house. So anything, any product, any produce, anything like that, we can get from local vendors, local reps, local distributors. We're putting it in our product, and it's giving a better value to the customer, and then it makes us look good, frankly, because it's good. Like Anderson Dairy has been here since Vegas has been here.
Yep.
They're really the cream of Secret Creamery.
Yeah.
That's Battleborn in your blood when you eat that stuff. So, so like it's imperative to always be fact finding and then acting on that data. And if you don't have enough data, find the people who have the data.
Yep. And I think in today's world, it's at our fingertips. It's at our fingertips, right? I want to go back to something you said is people who are willing to do the work. That's something that when they're asking me like, hey, who are you looking to work with? I always say someone who's willing to learn, get educated, to grow, and do the work. That's what makes the impact in actually making a difference in someone's business is how do we get them out of the day-to-day to oversee the business, right? Most business owners, when you launch a business or when you're starting in business, you are the business. So you have to do everything. But as you start to scale and grow, you have to learn to delegate and relinquish control. And the best way to do that with what you said is by educating, doing the market research, right?
Yeah.
And knowing, hey, what's trending, what's happening, and how do we ride that wave? And you've been successful at doing that.
And then here's how and why, and it's horrifying to me, but because if anyone who's ever known me and met me and then seen me complain, I complain about the same things. I do not understand how I've commanded so much loyalty from just paying people on time. Or just paying them when I agreed to pay them. What is that? Is that not a thing out here? And then when you got 30 or 40 humans a year telling you the same horrifying stories, then right, like these people ain't making it all up. Like it's gotta be insane out there.
Right.
And for us, we're a unique model. We do a profit share model for our staffing, including management and all staff. I come from the world where I believe even the janitor and the dishwasher is important.
Yep.
Because they are. If those things aren't clean, or the machine slows down, and if the machine slows down, I make less money. And then if I make less money, that's when we do profit share models. You all make less money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then like I've been very thankful. I think this is how we've maintained loyalty and um, consistency with the staffing, because there'll be moments where some people get paid way beyond what I can ever pay for jobs, because the gigs aren't exactly as fluid as they used to be. Everyone's kind of broke. They can't just tip out thousands of dollars.
Right.
Okay, no problem. The few who just enjoy the work and then that amount of money is good for them, then they come. But whenever a whale does show up, shoot, I just call 30 people, and then probably 28 of them will show up. With that, like the two who can't had prior commitments that are for way more money, and then that's something I'm very proud of. That I've basically built a mercenary force of people that you can rely on and call on whenever you need, like chef for hires. And then that's also another model within our incubator.
Yeah. 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 It's amazing how when you do things like that, the impact it has, and how much more people tend to gravitate towards you. This leads me to my next question, Krit. It's going to be, who is the most influential person in your life, and how have they impacted you?
It's persons. It's a lot. I mean, like, because I have to give and take from a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there's no specific one person, and I say this now after trying to grasp who I am as an individual and a leader and a character in everyone else's life. And it's like, look, it's not my place to be the protagonist. It's my place to just be the best I can at my role.
Yep.
So, I've met a lot of like men and women who are just great bakers, great doctors, great lawyers, great people. Um, uh, you know, uh, they'll very charitable humans who go out and then just donate. Like I know this guy who donated almost like an entire pallet of toys to a kids toy drive we did, and all he wanted was a photo. Like, okay, sure, done, no problem. That's like $10,000 worth of gifts for kids you don't know. I'm in,
Yep.
and and then each of these individuals across my path on this time, those good worn moments where, right, this person has like risen up and then done something to help others. It reminds me that's why I'm still here. This planet is not all garbage.
Yeah.
As much as we like to, right? We wake up like, oh, screw this guy. Oh, I don't want to deal with this. Like, yeah. But you know what though? There are people out here making it a better place. And I got to give credit to my mom and my partners and my staff and my management team. But that, if there is no one person who has influenced me to make me better. Everyone has influenced me to make me better.
Yeah, I think that's a very important value takeaway right there, is that it's the people you surround yourself with, right? And the knowledge that you intake will determine where your business will head. And you've done a good job of, surrounding yourself with really good people who care, right? Um, with that being said, I've got two more questions for you before we wrap up. Next one is, what's the biggest challenge you're facing in your role, and how are you tackling it?
Okay. I am I'm at that pivotal moment where I have to add gas to the fire for it to basically grow.
Mm-hmm.
But containing it and then having enough fuel to even keep it hot, you know what I mean? It's an issue. Resources,
Yep.
you know. Something I'd like to talk about is that, like, so within the food and beverage space, there was about 30% of us who received grants during that fiasco,
Mm-hmm.
over the pandemic plague. And there were grants and money allocated to individuals that were like, people who didn't really need the money. Like, oh, this company is worth 2.8 million. All right, we're going to give you 2.2 million to kind of keep you afloat. Oh, hey, Krit, you got issues too? We'll give you like 170K. Oh, really? Thank you. Oh, we ran out of money though. So stand by for about 3 months for Congress to vote on something that's not going to pass. And then after a year, give up hope, because you and two-thirds of the entire economy in the food and beverage space who are family owners are just going to be gone.
Mm.
Because just a quick segue, even now, like up until this point, I've watched 7 of my friends who I started with close their businesses outright. They can't afford to do this. it's not feasible.
Yeah.
So kind of just like coming back to the point, it's painful to it's just so difficult to kind of like conceptualize an easy way to make things better.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm having a moment.
No, I get it. I get it. It's not easy to watch, close friends and people that you care about close those doors because resources aren't there for them.
Yeah,
That's why
but
we strive, as business coaches to coach them along the way you've been, doing with your business and knowing how to scale that business, staying ahead of it, knowing, hey, what are the trends, and keeping them in business is the key, right? Is just through business re-education is all we do.
it's just finding the resources though.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm blessed. I really am. I've done a lot of groundwork, and I've met the right people, and I made the right decisions. Um, because we still have the bills paid, we still have our lights on, we still have our things are still moving.
Yeah.
But for a great many others who I thought were in better positions than me, financially doing better than me, they're gone. They're gone now.
Yep.
I've bought their equipment. Their staff works for me now.
Yeah.
Like, and then like it's a rough thing for me to contextualize and to grasp at times that like I'm going from business owner to some strange folklore hero because I have to support and provide for all these people who have no other option.
Right.
The food and beverage business for a lot of people is all they've got, and then if there's not enough work, they don't eat, and then if I'm not out here selling, we don't have a home.
Correct.
And for a lot of these other people, I could see that pain, I could see that struggle, and then they just didn't make it. We've got to move back to Milwaukee, got to go back to Idaho. Got just all right. Well, we'll miss you.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you said earlier, doing the market research, and doing the homework, doing the work that actually helps you progress and stay ahead and stay in business, is one of the biggest things that I've got out of this conversation. I do want to say thank you for being on this episode of the Business Spotlight. What is the best way, Krit, if somebody wants to get a hold of you or connect with you? What's the best way for them to do that?
So right now, the website, www.tinglelabs.com, is going to be kind of like the easiest contact card about what we do and what we're doing. It's not always updated. We're working on it right now. But just the contact us sheet. Hey, I got a party coming up. Hey, I got an event coming up. Hey, I have somebody who has a very strict allergens and needs like assistance with a private chef. Well, we will hunt one down for you to try to help you with that and those services. If you are also having huge health and allergen concerns and you still need help, we do work with everyone. We work with nonprofits, so there are ways to help everybody eat, as well as any service projects, anything going on that needs food. Literally, if you have a food and an event and a large mass of people and you need assistance, we will help you. Just reach out to us there on the website and the contact card, and then contact us. And then everything usually gets funneled to me at one point or another. But in all fairness, we're receiving almost like 100 messages every other day.
Yeah.
Up to. So if it takes us some time to reach back out, uh, trying our best. We are a growing small business.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on all the success. I know a lot of people are going to find this conversation extremely valuable. Thank you again for your time and being on this episode of the Business Spotlight. And until next time, I will see you out there.
Cheers.